After going through what was considered a rough time, with the releases of Sonic 06 being an unfinished game, Secret Rings having horrible motion controls, and Sonic Unleashed getting mixed reviews, it seemed like Sega decided to finally take what made the last Sonic game fun and bring it into their next game. Using the daytime stage and its controls from Sonic Unleashed and improve on it for the next installment. Enter Sonic Colors, the game to stick with one gameplay style while also throwing in a few new ideas along the way, like introducing the Wisps, which were an optional feature to play through the game. With Colors being a success, it seemed fitting to bring back the same gameplay style again for the next main game. And just 1 year later, in November of 2011, we got Sonic Generations. The idea of having the current Sonic going back to revisit older locations from previous games, but also having him meet his younger self, was interesting at the time.
It's been generations since I've seen you. You okay?
At the time. With Sonic Generations featuring 2 Sonics to play as, it also brings in 2 playstyles. Each level has 2 acts for each Sonic. Act 1 for Classic Sonic, and Act 2 for Modern Sonic. We already know how Modern Sonic controls. It's the same as how he was in Unleashed and Colors, only improved on. Classic Sonic, on the other hand, tries to replicate the original Genesis controls with the 2D gameplay and the spin dash. Although not one-to-one like the originals, it does a good job on its own when it comes to the controls. The levels in this game just stand out on their own, not only designed for the respective Sonics you play as, but also recreating select moments from past games. The tower from Sky Sanctuary collapsing, the chase down the building in Speed Highway, the gun truck chase from City Escape, the opening to Seaside Hill, to the clock tower in Rooftop Run. Every level has its own unique moment, and I love this game for what it has to offer. A short game that can be finished in roughly 3 to 4 hours that just screams love was put into this game. Not to mention the PC version of this game. The amount of mods this game has is outstanding. From level mods that port all the stages and even original levels made by creators, to character swaps, cosmetics, and even restoring voice actors to their respective roles.
Not to me, but this place looks like something sucked all the life and color out of it. Totally strange.
No stranger than rescuing genies in magic books or saving aliens in an interstellar amusement park. I'm more concerned about finding our friends. Oh, another Sonic. What? Wait a second. Then I guess we have to run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't be a tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get that memo. I beat you every time. No, seriously. You beat this guy every time. It's like it's our job or something.
There's mods that improve the game's quality, like giving it more shading and not looking so compressed. As of recently, Sonic Generations was removed from the Steam page. However, not entirely. Despite the game being removed from Steam, it can still be purchased in the newly added Sonic Legacy Bundle, which not only includes Sonic Generations, but a good collection of other Sonic titles. The reason why Sonic Generations was removed from all platforms was due to the announcement of Sonic X Shadow Generations, a fully remastered version of the original Sonic Generations with a brand new Shadow campaign. When this was first revealed, I was beyond hyped to finally see that not only was Sonic Generations coming back for modern platforms, but the fact that we got Shadow the Hedgehog 2 bundled in.
Old game.
We're playing it now.
Oh!
Holy shit! It looks like a normal game.
Same exact
Hold on.
game, boys.
Wait. It does
Wait a
look like
minute,
the
wait
same
a minute,
exact
wait a
game.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why the fuck did you do that?
Yo!
Oh my God.
They cooked! They cooked! They cooked!
Holy shit, it's real!
This is the guy who gets like that.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Actually put effort into it, holy shit.
BioListen! The BioListen is back! Sonic X Shadow Generations, okay. Okay.
That looks so sick. Wrong.
Black Doom was back somehow. Now, because this review will be covering both Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations, I'll be leaving timestamps below for each respective game. So let's kick things off with Sonic Generations. We begin with classic Sonic running around in Green Hill, only for an earthquake to cause him to stop. Above in the sky, we see a creature called the Time Eater that comes out of a portal, causing a shockwave that propels us forward in time. Now in present day, we see that Sonic's friends have prepared a surprise birthday party for him. Everything is going well until the Time Eater begins to drag everyone through portals, knocking Sonic out and sending him into a white void known as white space. A space where time doesn't exist. After going through Green Hill, Sonic ends up saving Tails, who is also confused about what is happening. After seeing Chemical Plant in the distance, modern Sonic goes to check it out, only for classic Sonic to appear and check it out too. After going through both Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary and saving both Amy and Knuckles, while also not knowing there's two Sonics running around, we reach the first boss fight, where upon entering, we finally see modern Sonic and classic Sonic see each other for the first time, but still thinking that it's an odd reflection in a mirror. After hearing Eggman call to him, classic Sonic runs off to confront him, only for modern Sonic to realize that there are two of him. After classic Sonic fights the Death Egg robot from Sonic 2, the Time Eater kidnaps classic Eggman. After returning to the white space, classic Sonic finally meets up with modern Sonic, Tails, and classic Tails, who is here now? We don't know how he got here, but he's here now. After that, it's rinse and repeat. Go through a set of levels and defeat some bosses. The levels are split up into 3 eras of Sonic games: the Classic Era, Dreamcast Era, and Modern Era. The Classic Era including Green Hill from Sonic 1, Chemical Plant from Sonic 2, and Sky Sanctuary from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The Dreamcast Era including Speed Highway from Sonic Adventure, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2, and Seaside Hill from Sonic Heroes. The Modern Era includes Crisis City from Sonic 06, Rooftop Run from Sonic Unleashed, and Planet Wisp from Sonic Colors. The boss fights include 1 for Classic Sonic and 2 for Modern Sonic. It's a bit uneven, guys. I wish we had an even number of bosses for both Classic and Modern Sonic. For bosses, we have the already mentioned Death Egg robot for Classic Sonic, Perfect Chaos from Sonic Adventure, and the Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed for Modern Sonic. Along with these bosses, we also have rival fights. We have Metal Sonic for Classic Sonic in Stardust Speedway's Bad Future for some reason, Shadow the Hedgehog on the Ark, and Silver the Hedgehog in Crisis City, which makes no sense because Sonic and Silver never met or fought in Crisis City to begin with. It's just a small nitpick though. There's also a few side missions to play that unlock boss keys, which allows you to access the bosses in the first place. The overall list of levels and bosses are pretty good. I do wish we ended up getting some extra levels as DLC. Oh wait, we did. Kinda. Yeah, Sonic Generations did end up getting a Casino Night DLC, but it's just pinball. Look, I might be a sucker for pinball, but I'd rather go through Casino Night and gamble for all those rings. This is why I love level mods. As we go through the levels, we find out that the Time Eater is going through different time periods and is corrupting each segment, leaving everything white and dead. While the Sonics go through the levels, they return each segment's time period, bringing in life and color. After reaching the final boss and collecting the Chaos Emeralds along the way, we finally reach the Time Eater. It is then where we learn that Modern Eggman was behind it all along. He goes on to explain that after the events of Sonic Colors, Eggman discovered the Time Eater after floating in space. He decided to use its power to travel through time and went back to find his younger self to team up and reshape the timeline to how he sees fit. After squashing both Sonics into a blue jelly, we get some encouraging words from Sonic's friends, which then makes them turn into their supersonic forms. We then get what is possibly the most epic, boring and annoying fight sequence in Sonic history. Not gonna lie, this final boss is pretty much just boring. You boost towards the Time Eater while avoiding its attacks and its famous homing shot.
Is something
Looks like a homing shot.
Looks like a homing shot. It looks like a homing shot.
That looks like a homing shot.
It looks like a homing shot. That's a homing shot.
Looks like a homing shot.
You know, I'd really love if you guys could just shut up for once. I know it's a homing shot. I can see it coming. You eventually reach his core and that's it. Do this a few times while switching between classic and modern Sonic until somehow it manages to summon a ball of fire where you must then combine both classic and modern Sonic together to go for the final hit. Also, not to mention, the final hit plays the opening to Live and Learn, only for it to then start playing the theme song for Sonic 4 Episode 1. Can you imagine how much better this boss could have been without this song and replaced with Live and Learn?
We'll end it! Burn! Burn to ashes!
Sonic! Combine your powers!
After finishing the boss fight, we return to the present day to the birthday party. Classic Sonic and Classic Tails return to their time period. Both Eggmans are now stuck in the white space for God knows how long. And that's the story. I know a lot of people say this game doesn't really have a story, but I like it for what it is. At the end of the day, Sonic Generations was just a 20th anniversary title. Now, when it comes to the remastered version, there's not a lot of changes to the actual game. The only differences would go to some of the dialogue. I do like the new dialogue, and it doesn't ruin the original's story. But, because it's all new dialogue, this is the one thing that I believe the game suffers from the most. It's a simple redub, but it also tries to make the new dialogue fit into the cutscene itself. There's moments when characters respond late, or times when they speak. They need to fit the whole sentence in the time span of the animation. It's very well noticeable in the final cutscene with Sonic.
It was great teaming up with you. Hope you learned a few tricks that'll help you out in the future. I mean, the past. You know what I mean. It was great teaming up with you, or me. Maybe this will fast-track you to learning some new tricks in the future. Wait, I mean, past. Ugh, time travel's a chore.
However, there are moments where I do welcome the new dialogue, and it really works. For once, whenever you save a friend as Modern Sonic, he now responds to them and no longer just stands there in silence.
Thanks for saving me, Sonic. It was scary in the dark, but I tried to be brave. Thank you for saving me, Mr. Sonic. It was so scary, but I tried to be really brave.
You did great, kiddo.
I do also appreciate some of the jokes getting taken out. The joke of them saying how defeating Eggman is their job.
I can't believe this. I was supposed to beat you this time.
I'm sorry. I didn't get that memo. I beat you every time. No, seriously. We beat this guy every time. It's like it's our job or something.
I recalibrated everything. This was supposed to be my time.
Oh, please, keep dreaming, Egghead. I beat you every time. No, seriously, we beat him every time. Our scorecard's flawless.
Or even when Classic Tails asks where Sonic puts all his gold rings.
He collects how many? Wow, where does somebody put all those gold rings? You know what? I don't know. I keep forgetting to ask. So, I have a question for you. Once we're home, you think the timeline will be restored? Yep. Just don't think about it too hard.
And that's Sonic Generations Remastered. Control-wise, it's the same. The game does bring in new features, such as the inclusion of the drop dash, which is given to both classic and modern Sonic, the addition of collectible Chow in each level, and classic Sonic's model resembling the one seen in Sonic Superstars. His quills are now much longer, and although at first I thought it was a weird change, I'm starting to like the new look. The button layout resembles the one from Sonic Frontiers, But you do have the option to play with legacy controls if you want to have this remaster play more like the original. Now, we're not done yet, as this is not the only game we have to review. Oh no, we still have to go through the new Shadow Generations game. But before we do so, let's recap on who Shadow is. 50 years ago, Eggman's grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik, was tasked to cure his dying granddaughter, Maria, who suffered from an illness known as NIDS. According to Gerald, the illness was impossible to cure on Earth, so he took it upon himself to take care of Maria up in space aboard the space colony Ark. While trying to find a potential cure for Maria, Gerald was tasked to create what would be known as the ultimate life form. However, due to minor setbacks, he was forced to restart from scratch. Eventually, he came into contact with an alien race known as the Black Arms and its overlord, Black Doom, who offered to help Gerald to create the ultimate life form by using his own blood and the ability to use chaos control, which eventually became Shadow the Hedgehog. Over time, both Shadow and Maria became best of friends, never leaving each other's side. However, one day Gunn began to realize what Gerald did when he made Shadow, a living superweapon that became friends with a child. So the government and the soldiers ended up raiding the Ark in an attempt to capture Shadow and Gerald. While attempting to escape with Maria, Shadow gets put into a pod, only for Maria to stay behind and... So how many times are we gonna see this 12-year-old get gunned down? And now with movie 3? This makes me happy. After being ejected from the Ark and landing back on Earth, Shadow was eventually captured by Gunn and was frozen. 50 years later, Shadow is revived by Eggman and begins to complete his task to end all life on Earth after what happened that day 50 years ago. After remembering what Maria's dying wish was, he then decided to sacrifice himself for all of humanity. Bro was just confused. He thought he had to end all life, but instead, he just had to bring them happiness to them all. After his noble sacrifice, we then find out that Eggman rescued Shadow and began to make clones of him. In 2005, we saw the release of Shadow's very own title, Shadow the Hedgehog, which has Shadow fighting the very same alien overlord that gave him life to begin with. After discovering who he really is, he puts an end to the Black Arms and all is right again. Since then, Shadow has mostly remained in the back seat, serving as a small role in the franchise, such as in the Riders series and playing the role of Sir Lancelot in Black Knight. He was then reintroduced in Sonic Forces, who was playable for some modern Sonic levels and 3 exclusive ones. He also formed a small rivalry with Infinite, but we don't talk about that. Since then, Shadow has just remained on the side. That was until the release of Sonic Movie 2, where the movie teased that Shadow would have a major role. Cut to the year 2024, and we get the campaign Fearless Year of Shadow. In lead up to the movie 3's release, we have been getting non-stop Shadow content from side games to animations, his bike becoming an actual thing. We even had the Sonic Symphony create new arrangements for Shadow and for music related to him. And overall, it's been the best. And right now, we are at the release of Sonic X Shadow Generations, which not only includes the remastered version of Sonic Generations, but a whole new Shadow story which has the same premise, only from Shadow's perspective. Shadow Generations begins with the prologue animation called Dark Beginnings, which gives us a bit of more of the relationship between Shadow and Maria, but also some extra knowledge about his past. We find out that Shadow was experiencing a vision of some kind that made him see events from the past, as well as having the feeling that the Black Arms have returned. After raiding a gun base and stealing a rocket, he heads up to the Ark, only to find Black Doom has been up there the whole time. While chasing him and going through Doom Zone, which is basically the Doctor Strange effect, we eventually find the fake Chaos Emerald that Tails made back in Adventure 2. Immediately right after, the Time Eater then shows up and sends Shadow to his own white space, along with many other characters such as Omega, Orbot, Cubot, Big, and worst for Shadow, Maria and Gerald. Similar to Sonic's campaign, Shadow goes through most of his iconic stages, which range from the Space Colony arc from Sonic Adventure 2, Rail Canyon from Sonic Heroes, Kingdom Valley from Sonic 06, Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces, Chaos Island from Sonic Frontiers, and Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2. There's also select moments where Doom's Eye will interrupt your playthrough and sends you through the Doom Zone, which resembles a warped Radical Highway. You must escape from these zones to return to the stages you were in before. Unlike Sonic Generations, where the white space is fully 2D, the white space in Shadow's story is fully 3D, following the same open zone gameplay style as Sonic Frontiers. You must still collect boss keys by doing set challenges. However, unlike in Sonic's story, where you only need to play one challenge to unlock the boss key, in this story, you must now play every single mission to unlock the boss key. Due to this, there are less challenges instead, with only 2 challenge levels per zone. In Shadow's story, we have a grand total of only 4 boss fights: the Biolizard from Adventure 2, Metal Overlord from Sonic Heroes, Mephiles from Sonic 06, and Devil Doom from Shadow the Hedgehog. I love these boss fights, especially the Mephiles boss. We get some continuity about how Shadow doesn't know who Mephiles is, since the timeline of 06 was erased. We get lines from Mephiles saying he wants to live on the current timeline and how he wants to exist.
I will defeat you and restore myself to the timeline. I owe much to you, Shadow. I don't know what you're talking about, but I will crush you all the same. Again. No! Princess! There is no future for you. Ever.
Stuff like this is what I loved about this new game. Characters acknowledging their history. However, when it comes to Sunset Heights and Chaos Island, Shadow never addresses what is going on or what locations he's in. Timeline-wise, the events of both Forces and Frontiers haven't occurred yet. Not only that, but Shadow was never in Sonic Frontiers to begin with. But again, just a small nitpick. As for the rival fights, there's none. We do see the rival fight between Sonic and Shadow, which is what ties this story to Sonic's story, but it's reserved for just being a cutscene. After reaching the end of each level, Shadow begins to unlock new powers given to him under Black Doom's blood. Doom Wing, which allows him to glide across the zones, Doom Spear, which is a much larger Chaos Spear attack, and that also allows him to shoot multiple spears at once. Doom Morph, which has Shadow transform into a squid-like creature that allows him to swim up through purple goo, as well as swing across gaps. Doom Blast, that allows you to propel larger enemies across the zone and into secret areas, and Doom Surf, which allows Shadow to surf across water surfaces. Once every level is complete and you obtain every Doom power, you go up to face Black Doom in his Devil Doom form. Fight is pretty simple. It uses similar phases as previous boss fights. However, when that's done, a new form for Devil Doom begins to appear, now becoming Neo Devil Doom, which is... I don't even know how to describe this look. Kinda looks like a flower. Defeating Neo Devil Doom while an epic orchestral version of All Hail Shadow plays in the background, while flying across the giant Doom Zone, was so cinematic and I loved it. I'm going as far as to say that this is my favorite final boss in any Sonic game.
Oh my god, chat. I can't focus. I legit cannot focus. Oh my god. I'm speechless. I'm literally out of breath right now. It's not over. It's not over. We just keep winning with this one. It's not over. What now? What is happening? There's more to this fight, isn't there? Oh.
Cannot deny what you are. We are one and the same.
Is he gonna become Super Shadow? No?
Shadow the Hedgehog. This is the destiny I choose. Now, to end this.
Chat. I'm shaking. I'm legit shaking right now.
I crafted everything up till now. And yet, you deny me.
That hat's coming off. Oh my god. Can I just take a breather for a second?
After defeating Black Doom, the white space anomaly begins to heal itself, and everyone who was sent to that white space begins to return to their point in time. This means that Maria and Gerald also return to their points in time.
Professor, what's happening?
No.
Without Black Doom's influence, the time anomaly is beginning to heal. We are returning to our own point in time.
I'll stop Rouge. Use Chaos Control. Stop this moment in time.
Shadow? No. I don't want to be frozen in one place in time. Besides, your friends need your help.
But you don't know what's going to happen.
I know as we can. And if fate draws us apart, I will always be in your heart.
Oh my god.
Maria. Wait.
Shadow, this is the best game. Oh. Even bro is crying. Does it? That right there, I don't care what any of you say, that final boss beats Sonic Frontiers' Final Horizon. I freaking knew it. I knew it. Ian Flynn was gonna make us cry. I called it. You for a cry? Yes, I am! Yes, I am!
And I have to say, man, Ian Flynn, you did it again. You can't do this to me! I cried watching Shadow wanting to freeze time, but told not to! Shadow having to say one final sad goodbye to the ones he knew before running away to catch up to Rouge, only to shed a tear, was heartbreaking. That right there is what Shadow is all about. A character that has a tragic backstory. Tears aside, this story just hit hard. I loved how this whole time since 2005, Black Doom was just in the arc, waiting for the right time. The time travel idea of bringing Maria and Gerald to the present version of Shadow was going to be emotional to see. And Kirk Thornton, who not only improved on his Shadow voice, but has become one of my favorite Shadow voices, period. Gameplay-wise, however, it is almost nothing like Sonic Generations. Instead, it brings over the style from Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, it's like Generations, but the way it functions is like Frontiers. You have an open zone that features different challenges and puzzles to solve that unlock extra features in the collection room, such as concept art, music, history pieces, and even Gerald's journal, which is a bit odd you unlock in the game since it's an actual physical collectible when you pre-order the game physically. Overall, Shadow Generations is a fun experience. Now, if you already own the original Sonic Generations, is it worth buying Sonic X Shadow Generations? Absolutely! The original Generations is improved upon graphics-wise, along its small little extras, and plus, for the price of one game, you're also getting Shadow Generations, which is not just a small expansion, but a full game bundled in. If you've never played the original Sonic Generations, then what are you waiting for? Pick up this game for the platform of your choice. Not to mention that later this December, there will be Sonic Movie 3 DLC to tie in with the movie. And you can bet that I will be here to cover all of that when it drops, leading up to the movie's release. So thank you so much for watching this review on Sonic X Shadow Generations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, share this video. Let me know what you thought about Sonic X Shadow Generations down in the comments down below. And I'ma see you all very soon in the next one.